this story is a very sad one and an annoying one at the same time. So this lady goes by the name Ayabonga. She's from South Africa and she happens to be a single mom of one beautiful daughter. She recently graduated from Durban University of Technology, where she studied for 4 years and acquired a degree in public relations and communications. Shortly after graduating, she got a job at a BPO organization. With this job of hers, she was able to take good care of herself and her 2-year-old child and also participate in other social activities despite being only 23 years old. And everything seemed to be working fine for her. But you see, later on, Ayabonga began having issues at her workplace with this guy called Kunene, who happens to be the manager of the BPO organization. If I was to guess, I would say he's one of those narcissist managers that don't treat their workers well. And the reason why I would say so is because the same way he was having issues with Ayabonga was the same way he was having issues with other individuals in the BPO company. And some of them had to leave the company because they couldn't handle it anymore. The issues between Ayabonga and manager continued for a while, and when she could no longer put up with the manager's behavior, she quit the job and left. Shortly after quitting the BOP job, Ayabonga got another job at a call center. This one was even better than the previous one, and for a while everything seemed to be getting better until it was Christmas season. Now during this time, some of Ayabonga co-workers at her former place of work, that is the BPO organization, whom she was still in contact with, told her that they would be having a dinner night at a restaurant and that they were inviting her, and she agreed to come. So on the day of the event, Ayabonga met with her ex-worker, including her ex-manager, at that particular restaurant. They gisted, talked about work stuff, and they had fun. Now as soon as it started getting dark, one by one, Ayabonga ex-workers started returning to their respective homes until it remained Ayabonga and the manager at the restaurant. The two of them talked for a while, then later on, the manager went his way and then Ayabonga went her own way too. However, you see, Ayabonga never returned home that night. Her family tried reaching out to her, they called her phone, but she wasn't picking up. The next day, they began sharing missing flyers of Ayabonga all over social media so as to find her, but still they couldn't find her. Eventually, they reported the case to the police and then the police began an investigation. Now while investigating, the police contacted some of the ex-workers Ayabonga went to the restaurant with and asked them if they knew anything about her disappearance. But the ex-workers revealed to the police that they knew nothing about her disappearance. They told them that after they finished having dinner, they left the restaurant, leaving Ayabonga with the manager. The police then contacted the manager and asked him the same question. However, manager said he didn't know where Ayabonga was and that he wasn't even the last person that saw her. He revealed to the police that after the other workers left the restaurant, leaving him and her alone, he also left the restaurant as well. And the reason was because a Nigerian man who happened to be Ayabonga's friend came over to the restaurant to meet her. Now the police, on hearing all this, decided to go through the CCTV footage of the restaurant so that they could get an image of what the said Nigerian man looks like and then launch a manhunt for him. But to the police surprise, when they went through the CCTV footage of the restaurant, they didn't find any Nigerian man there. What they found was only a clip of Ayabonga and manager, and they even left the restaurant together. The police became even more suspicious when they found out about Ayabonga and manager little history. That is the issue they had when she was still working with them. And so this prompted the police to conduct a little search at manager's home. Now when they arrived at manager's house, they didn't find anything suspicious as they were expecting until they went to his backyard. Now when they got to the backyard, they found out that the ground had been recently tilled. So the police decided to dig that area, and when they dug that area, they saw something they weren't expecting to see. Ayabonga's corpse was buried there. It turned out that after other ex-workers of Ayabonga left the restaurant, leaving only her and manager there, manager was able to convince her to come to his house, and sadly, when they arrived there, he unalived her and then buried her in his backyard. Then, in an attempt to cover up his crimes, he lied to the police that a Nigerian man came there while they were in the restaurant, blah 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 blah. it was all lies. Imagine if there was no CCTV footage. The reports would have likely read a beautiful South African lady unalived by Nigerian man. Now I wanted to know why manager unalived Ayabonga, because it made no sense why he would still unalive her despite the fact that she was no longer working in the same company as him. And so in an attempt to know the truth, I decided to reach out to a friend of Ayabonga. Now when I messaged the friend, they said they would need to take permission from Ayabonga's family before they could tell me what actually made manager unalived her. However, when they reached out to Ayabonga's family, they prohibited her from saying anything to me or anyone, so I couldn't get any info. Anyways, the case is still ongoing and I really hope Ayabonga gets justice. Follow me for more crazy stories. I'm Caleb and I've uncovered this case.